Hey guys, it is Mike with Come the Night. Welcome back to another Ask a Music Snob. This is the show where I post a little sticker thingamajag in the story of my Instagram story. Is that what it's called? God, I hate social media. You guys can ask me any questions you want. Questions about how do you feel about X band? How do you feel about X genre? They're not going to be answered. I pulled some of the ones that I thought were interesting and I'm going to answer them. Does knowing piano help you learn other instruments easier? I would say if you have to compare all the different facets of learning an instrument, no. If learning piano is your first instrument, learning any instrument is going to make learning another instrument much easier. But specifically piano, no. Learning piano is a great way to get a basis of understanding music theory. Especially if you're a songwriter, knowing how to play piano is going to make things much easier. It gives you literally a map of 88 notes, and it gives them to you in the easiest way possible of looking at it and playing it. I will say that every musician should have some basic knowledge of the piano and how it works and learning a song or two on it. As far as applying the theory you learn, it is the easiest instrument to apply that theory to. If you were trying to get someone into metal music, what are the first metal bands you would show them? I get this question so many times. How do I get my friend into prog? How do I get my friend into metal? It is so different in every situation. If you recall, most of you haven't seen this video, and it's probably a good thing. It's one of my first videos. God, it was bad. I had a video in the early Music Snob days called Why Don't People Like Prog? A person's music preference forms what other music they are going to enjoy, especially if they're already over the ages of 18. It's the older you get, the more solidified your preferences become. Since there are many flavors to metal, fuck you metal purists. Since there are many flavors to metal and many flavors to prog, it really depends upon what the person likes. For instance, my buddy Jacob, I thought he would enjoy Blind Guardian more than he would have enjoyed, Ailstorm, more than he would have enjoyed Ailstorm. Now, the reason why I thought he would enjoy Blind Guardian is because Blind Guardian has a certain amount of a Celtic or a UK Islander influence in their music. It's pretty prominent, and he likes a lot of the Celtic folk type stuff, and there is some crossover there. And I was like, you know what? Let's try Ailstorm. They also have a little bit of that influence, but not very strong, not nearly as strong as Blind Guardian. They're more straight ahead metal. He liked Ailstorm more. So, okay, fucking metal purists out there, tell me how wrong I am that 311 isn't a metal band. I get it. But if you find someone who really likes Red Hot Chili Peppers but doesn't like metal, show them 311. There's your crossover. Use your fucking brain. There isn't one definitive band that's going to be the catch-all of everyone's going to love this, because there's no such thing. What's your proudest musical moment? Quitting my day job. I was so fucking scared, and a lot of people were proud of me for doing it. I am not going to be fully proud of it until I hit that 1 year mark. Let's go May. But so far I've been able to make it work, and I am as surprised as a lot of other people. I've had some people ask me oh, you're still doing the YouTube thing. I didn't know if that was still happening or not. I'm like, I haven't gone back to another job yet, But yeah, having every aspect of the work that I do be music related is the proudest part of my life. I can call myself a music professional now. How many times? Every time. What are some of your favorite hip-hop songs? So it was really hard to pick my favorite from this artist, and it may not be my favorite from this artist, but first one that came to mind, The Adventures of Larry and Tina by Wax. I have talked about Wax multiple times, suggested multiple of his songs. I think I've also suggested this song on Song Suggestion Friday. Wax speaks so from the heart. His rhymes are very atypical and in the best way possible, because they still flow and feel great, and it hits you right in the soul, man. The Adventures of Larry and Tina is a slow flow, direct, page book type of story of this dude. I'm not gonna talk about the ins and outs of it. Basically, a dude having a midlife crisis who starts dating a teenage stripper. It is an amazing song and like a super low budget but excellent music video. Really, really good. Another one would be Thin Line by Jurassic 5. Jurassic 5 is a great hip-hop group. They're like, I think they're one of the OGs. Like, they're not like back in the OG days as far as I recall. I don't know that much about them. But they're definitely like one of the foundations for modern hip-hop, for sure. Thin Line has this beat that I absolutely love, and on top of that, the flow of everyone is really subdued and super chill, but the actual message, again, strikes home. It's about people who are friends, like a guy and a girl who have been friends for a long time, and then one person starts to develop feelings for the other, and you're just like, fuck, I don't want to fuck up this friendship, but I'm just not into you that way. Or maybe I am a little bit into you that way, but I still just don't want to fuck up this friendship. And they do it in an awesome way. It's a very specific situation that is explained and explored in a creative and heart-wrenching type of way. Really good shit. And of course, the classic Lottie Dottie by Slick Rick. Here's my attempt. Lottie Dottie, we likes to party. We don't cause trouble, we don't bother nobody. We're just some men that's on the mic. And when we rock up on the mic, we rock the mic right. That's my closest impersonation of fucking 80s golden era hip hop. The shit is so cheesy in that song, but I fucking love it. It's so good. And I actually fell in love with it because of Snoop Dogg's version, which has a fucking awesome beat. But yeah, Slick Rick, Lottie Dottie, that shit is classic, like one of the crown jewels of hip hop. If you really want to start to understand hip hop, get into that. It's like if you want to understand Chinese culture, one place you would start is the Three Kingdoms. Most overrated solo. So going off of the Rolling Stone list of 100 greatest guitar solos of all time, which is the one that I've been using for a while, I may need to change that standard. I really considered doing Sultans of Swing. And yes, I know Mark Knopfler is fantastic. However, that solo is definitely overrated. But most overrated, While My Guitar Gently Weeps, a Beatles song with Eric Clapton doing the guitar solo. Granted, this is a 16-year-old Eric Clapton, but the age of the person playing it does not affect how good or bad it is. Otherwise, my album that I released would be fucking amazing. Is it a bad solo? Not by any means. I would consider it a more than competent solo. But most of his weeping on the guitar is basically bends that are like kind of slower than normal, but not really that slow, not that weepy. The closest thing to weepy is the effect that they threw on it, and I think it's some sort of modulation, like a tremolo or something like that. It's weird. I forget what it is. No, it's not a tremolo. It's probably like a chorus or something, or like a warble. There's a warble to it. Either way, I found that guitar solo highly disappointing the first time I listened to it. It's such a great song, very poignant, and that guitar solo was not poignant at all. It's like the flute synth solo in Africa. Quite out of place. How you started to learn music theory and your advice for learning process. Alright, so I started learning music theory when I started taking guitar lessons, and I didn't get to learn as much as I wanted to. So, as my dad has detailed in the Q&A that I did with my folks, the second Q&A, I was not always the greatest student in school. It wasn't because I wasn't smart or didn't absorb the information, it's because I was anti-authoritarian and lazy. So because my grades were not as good as they should have been in high school, my dad canceled my guitar lessons. I would say, in hindsight, probably not the best move on his part, but I do not fault him for that. I completely understand where he was coming from. So I learned a handful of things in guitar lessons, one of which was cycle of fifths. But I didn't know how to read music, and I didn't even know what I didn't know. So while I was at this high school that I was at the time, I go up to one of the music instructors. I was like, hey, I want to learn music theory, and I don't know where to start. Like, I really want to do music with my life. I want to go to school for it. What do I need to know? So we start doing these little mini lessons. Lo and behold, I suck at it really bad. Granted, I'm not sure if he was the greatest teacher or not, but at the same point, I definitely was not the most dedicated student to the theory aspect of it. So senior year comes, and I want to go to school for music. And they're like, okay, you need this baseline of theory information so that you understand what you're doing before we take you to any other class. I'm like, okay, call up my guitar teacher. Hey, this is what I want to do. What do I need to know? He tells me everything I need to know. I go and I learn it. There's this wonderful thing that was invented, when was it invented? It was like the 80s or the 70s or some shit. The internet. The internet has so much free music theory information available to you. Also, I had the music teacher at the other high school I was going to at the time too. I forgot about that. He helped me as well because he had literally just gone through that process not too long ago. He gave me worksheets and I was like, what am I getting right? What am I getting wrong? I did it. I fucking did it. So that's how I started to learn music theory, is because I gave a fuck about it. My advice for the learning process, do it. Do it because you want to do it. If you really want it as bad as you think you do, you're gonna just go and learn that shit. You're gonna find a way to absorb as much as you can. To make sure you are absorbing stuff correctly, I would definitely get guidance from a mentor of some sort, whether that is paid or not. But even just a person who can point you in the right direction of where to go. My advice for the learning process is, if you don't understand it, keep trying, look up different videos, different sources. If that doesn't work, pay for fucking lessons. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you watch, what you pay for, or anything. If you're not putting in the work, if you don't have the passion, it's not gonna happen. Plain and simple. Needs to be you. Should kids that dab be punished? No. But the adults that taught them, abso-fucking-lutely. Would you consider going to the Fine Brothers show if they invite you? Duh. If I got invited by the Fine Brothers to be on one of their videos, which I don't think they would ever do, ever, I would not be surprised if they didn't like me. But yeah, would I go on their show if they invited me? Absolutely. First of all, it's not that I hate their shows. It's just that I hate doing reaction videos that you guys blow me up about. And honestly, I don't even know that I hate that anymore. I think I'm just done giving a shit about it. But secondly, I mean, just from a purely business perspective, that's an instant fucking sub boost. Are you kidding me? So yeah, fuck, I'd be more than happy. I would feel happy and honored if the Fine Bros had asked me to show up on one of their videos, and then I can have a bunch of other snobby motherfuckers talk about how much of a sellout I am. What would you recommend doing to distribute original music? Put it literally everywhere you can. That does not mean spamming it on people's pages. Don't do that. We draw the line at spam. But yeah, as far as the distribution apparatus goes, fucking anywhere that people are gonna be streaming, that you know everyone's gonna be streaming, that might look something like this. Get it on YouTube. I mean, really, like, where else are you gonna recommend doing it? And if your argument back to me is gonna be like, yeah, the market's saturated, give them a reason to listen. But that has nothing to do with distribution and everything to do with marketing. If you do want to distribute your music, sorry, it's a great time to plug one of my former sponsors, DistroKid. $20 a year, and you can put as many singles, and I think maybe even an album or whatever, as much as you fucking want for a whole year. $20. My sponsor code will be down there. Are you working on some new music? Yes. Ryan and I, like I've said multiple times, and especially in the 100,000 subscriber video, we are working on new songs that are actually just like original side project, like separate from the channel's songs. If you're talking about, like, am I working on new music for the channel? I've been delving into a few things. They've kind of taken a back seat to other things. But yes, there are things in the works. X-Men or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? All right. I'm going to assume we were talking about, since you put both of these guys together, we're talking about the Saturday morning cartoons that were happening in the 90s. While both of them have a special place in my heart, without a doubt, X-Men, it is, with the exception of the Batman animated series, the X-Men animated series from the 90s is probably the best comic book animated series to date fucking change my mind. I want to get over depression. Any advice? You might have already asked this question before in my live stream. The surest way for someone to shake depression isn't by taking soma. Soma, in my context, are things that make you feel good or things that feel empathetic to you. So like empathetic to your situation. So listening to super depressed music, that's soma. Or going and getting shithoused, or like going and playing a bunch of video games with your friends, that's soma. Is it inherently bad stuff? No. I'm not saying that at all. And it can be a healthy way of escaping, to just try and give yourself a reprieve from the pain that you're feeling. That's a good thing. But if you really want the ultimate cure, your best bet is finding out what your purpose is in life. It is not an easy question to answer. There are some that will ultimately say there is no purpose to life. And to them I say, well then why don't you fucking kill yourself? Disclaimer, I'm not saying that they should, I'm asking them why. So the best thing to do with your depression is figure out what your purpose is. Why are you here? And if you don't have a good answer for it because you can't objectively or empirically find out, make your own. At the end of the day, what in here gives you life? What band and or song has your favorite bass tone? Hands down, Opeth, without a doubt. Opeth's bass tone is so round and so full and so rich and just so nice. It just washes over you so well. Opeth is only properly listened to with a good sub. Like, you listen to it on your phone, not gonna work. You listen to it with earbuds, might be able to get some of the vibe of what's going on. You need a big, rich, round boom. Like, ooh, yes, very much so. And I mean, that in and of itself is a great aspect to it, but really the thing that drives it over the edge to me as like the best, it works equally as well with the jazzy, folky, chill shit. And I'm 90% sure it's the same tone. It works equally as well with the big, pound you in the face, beat the shit out of you metal stuff that they do. If I recall, if I'm listening to it correctly, it's the exact same tone. Example, The Drapery Falls by Opeth. Listen to that intro part with the bass. Oh, it's so good, especially the way that he like bends notes and stuff. So tasty. And the bass tone in Isolation Years, beautiful. Have you ever been to Europe? If not, do you have any plans to go there? I have not been to Europe, and currently I do not have any plans to be there, but I would absolutely love to visit the continent of Europe and the multitude of countries that are there. So once that happens, I will keep you posted. Is it possible for bass players to get laid, even if they are gingers? Nick, it is very possible for bass players to get laid, even ginger bass players. In your case, sorry, man. That is it for Ask a Music Snob. Thank you guys very much for watching. Please let me know what you thought about anything in the comments below. If you want to get your question featured on this show, please follow me on Instagram. Every Saturday, usually in the evening, I post to my story with a little question sticker, and you can ask me anything. You can also follow me on Twitter and Facebook at Become the Night. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you in the next video. Rock on!